if you already have anemia that's incredibly dangerous, which I do. So it's frustrating because I don't not support a woman's rights to contraceptives or birth control. I just feel like sometimes gynos hand it to you instead of being more thorough. When I was 17 or 16, I was like, I'm in excruciating pain. And they said, here's some birth control. 4 years later, all these things are still going on. And now I regret taking the birth control because birth control causes a lot of health issues if it's unnecessary to be taken. I didn't have ovarian cysts before I took birth control. Now I do. My periods are more painful than they were before, which could be a causal fallacy. I don't know, but it seems like that could be related. First, my period cramps were just so painful that, like, I couldn't get up, and, like, sometimes I would cry. Then after taking birth control, it got to the point of vomiting and actually, like, blacking out. And it was not like that before. Now I have cysts on the left side of my ovaries, and, you know, birth control can cause those things. Birth control can cause infertility or struggles conceiving when you do want kids. Birth control can cause vulvar cancer, ovarian cancer, cervical cancer, uterine cancer, any kind of vaginal cancer you could think of, it can cause. And every woman I know who struggled to have babies later in life was on birth control for 3 or 4 years. Everyone I know who's had multiple miscarriages, who struggles later in life, they all were on birth control for a long time. The only thing about IUDs, so the female IUD doesn't qualify for, like, local anesthetic, and I don't agree with that. There's, like, a medical misconception that the cervix doesn't have nerves. That's so untrue. That's scary that medical misogyny still exists to that degree. But there is a male IUD. It is called Adam, and within a month of it being released, it qualified for anesthetic. So I think that if you want contraceptives for, like, sex reasons, because yes, some women take birth control for their health, for, like, endometriosis and stuff. If you are looking for a contraceptive, I think you as a man should get an IUD. ADAM. I think you should get an IUD. Same with vasectomies. Women need to get a signature from their husband, or if they're not married, you're screwed, to get their tubes tied. It's a more invasive procedure. It's more unsafe. It's harder to reverse, leads to more infections because it's so invasive. As a woman, you need to have 2 kids and be married, or else they don't, like, consider you in most states. Men, if you want a vasectomy, they don't give a shit. That is misinformation. Most people in this age will take birth control, so you can't use anecdotes. That's not an anecdote. I'm not talking about my personal experience with birth control. I'm talking about studies that suggest it can cause infertility later in life. What are you talking about? I have anecdotes that reflect those studies. That's not misinformation. You just use ad populum logical fallacy. Just because the majority of the people believe something or do something does not mean that that's good. So, that being said, if 77 million people voted for Donald Trump, does that inherently make him a good president? No. That's not how that works. That's a logical fallacy. So, I'm glad you know what an anecdote is, though. Use rubbers. I don't need to. I'm asexual. I don't have sex. I've never had sex. My problem is that I'm in terrible pain. I was given birth control because I said, hey, my period cramps are so bad that I cry and that I can't move. And they said, here's some birth control. I said, great. Oh, now it's worse. And then I got off of it. And I still have problems that I haven't been able to solve. Do you want kids eventually? It does not make somebody a great president because the majority of people liked them at one point. If the majority of the people believe in slavery, does that make that good as well? Ad populum logical fallacy is like an appeal to authority. Like, my teacher said so, my mommy said so. That's stupid. Have you ever met Adriana Lima? No. That'd be cool, though. Hopes for me. I'll definitely keep that in mind. What did you get from Dunkin'? I got a medium iced decaf latte with 3 French vanilla swirl and vanilla cold foam. I saw that they had strawberry cold foam on their menu, and then they didn't have any, and I was like, what? How dare ya? It's pretty good. It's a little bit bitter, I can't lie to you. French vanilla just might not be enough for me. I might need to add, like, a pump of caramel or something in there. I do like Dunkin'. Growing up, I never went to Starbucks because not only did I not live within proximity to it, but growing up in New England, you get coffee from Cumberland Farms or Dunkin' Donuts, which for a while... Oh gosh, every morning before school, I'm like, Mom, can we go to Cumberland Farms so I can make my own coffee for $1? It's like, okay, if you do, you should use my storefront. Let me know if you need any recommendations, because they just got the original Bombshell sign strap back, and it's so cute. It's crazy. Like, bro. I don't have that. Yeah, they had the $1 Cumberland Farms coffee before, like, things hit the bed when I was in, like, middle school. What happened with the hair salon? My hair got fucked up. I asked for medium to light ash brown, which would have been, like, a 7. I left with dark brown hair, like a 5, and I had orange banding over the back of my head. And I politely asked for a refund because I said that they did my hair wrong and you had multiple days to prepare. Your stylist saw pictures days in advance. She didn't get blue shampoo. She didn't get blue toner. She didn't get the color that I wanted. She didn't get the dye that I needed. She didn't even have enough to mix. She was just mixing random colors together that I also kind of think were box dye, but that's what other hairstylists have told me. It looks good though because I did this from home. This was me fixing it. What they did in that salon, they did my hair so poorly that when I requested a refund, they pretended I had never been there. So, like, you know they fucked up. Like, they posted on their website, we have no history of you in our salon. I said, I have 3 pictures, mirror selfies, in your chair. I have pay stubs, and I have messages between your stylist and I. Through iMessage. And I have a screenshot of my booked appointment. So how do we want to do that? I took them a week of TikTok coming after them because, yes, I politely asked for a refund. They screamed at me. Yes, over the phone, screamed at me, insulted my hair, and said that, oh, you had bad hair when you walked in here, nobody's arguing. I'm telling a story. Like, that's your own problem that you think women are just angry. And then, because it became a thing of like, oh, like, why didn't you ask for a refund up front? Like, why did you wait until, like, you got home? I said, because I have autism, I struggle with direct confrontation. I didn't want there to be an issue. That was the first hair appointment I ever went to without my mother. Ever. And I said I didn't know what to do. So I said that I liked it. I went home. I texted you. I hope this finds you well. I didn't know how to articulate myself properly in that moment, but you did not do what I asked for. I have banding on the back of my head. I was there for 5.5 hours. I kind of just wanted to go home. Also, on top of that, I'll complain about somebody taking $176 from me and fucking up my hair. Yes, I will complain about that. Is that okay? You complain over less. You complain over gas prices because minorities are getting equal rights and you would rather cheaper gas, even though now people have less rights and more expensive gas and dry ports. So, yes, I will complain. You keep complaining about thanks Biden and he's not even in office. Sorry, MAGA. You're pissing me off today. But I kind of said that, and the stylist left me on red and then started slowly deleting messages. And thankfully, I took screenshots before that because I know when people are weird. I do. I know when people are being phony. I know when people are being a silly little goose get in the pond. And I call and I say, hey, your stylist is deleting messages. I asked for a refund and I sent pictures of the banding. Can we discuss this? $176 does not grow on trees. Are you aware of what's going on in the world? But no, I said very calmly, like, I'm going to need a refund. And they were like, oh, just come back into the salon. We'll fix it. Like, oh, like, I saw your pictures. Like, we'll fix it. They cut a strand of hair out of my head and did a test strand with it. And then 24 hours go by. They still haven't called me back. Whoa! I said,